happened last week? Did you study that last week? Little review for everybody. Anybody have a review?
It's about David and Bathsheba. About Bathsheba.
นั่นแหละไปแอบดูเมียเขาเราเมียเขาบอกว่าเมียตัวเองจำได้แล้วเขาเลยตายพระเจ้าลงโทษพระเจ้าลงโทษ
David sinned with Bathsheba, and it just kept getting worse and worse, and he kept sinning more and more. And at that point, the Lord sent Nathan to David, and he came and told him a little story. It's like I would say it's a parable, and think of what it would be like to have to tell the king that he's bad. You know, maybe it would have been scary. Maybe you don't know how it's going to turn out. Maybe it would turn out like John the Baptist when he was confronting King Herod. You know what happened to him. Right? There were some other reactions of kings regarding prophets. I was studying also in 1 Kings 22. King Ahab was talking to Jehoshaphat, and in 1 Kings 22:8, he said, the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, "There is yet one man by whom we may inquire of the Lord, but I hate him, because he does not prophesy good concerning me, but evil." Right? And so that was one of the temptations of people, was to not have to give the bad news to everybody, especially the powerful king. But it doesn't look like Nathan had a problem with it. What was his story? Can someone say what his story was in less than four verses? Like summary.
ก็ให้สรุป
สงสัยต้องมีคนแปลเป็นภาษาไทย
ไม่เป็นไรรู้มั่งไม่รู้มั่งสรุปอะไร
สรุปพี่ถามอาจารย์
What conclusion do you find?
What do you like
That you read.
the conclusion?
What happened? What was the story? Just what was the story? That's all.
That we just had read?
No, the story that Nathan told David.
About the rich man and poor man.
Yeah.
The rich man have so many lamb and sheep, so rich, but the poor man have only one lamb, one little lamb, and the poor man love the lamb so much,
Right.
and hug and kiss and feed the lamb with his food too.
Right.
And then the rich man saw the little lamb and he wanted it.
Yeah, he took it instead of one of his.
And took his lamb and cooked it. Want to
Yeah.
eat it.
Right.
Then the
And
rich
so-
man want the little poor man lamb.
So the king got kind of upset about that story, right?
Right.
It's just a little story. Why would why was he so angry?
Well, he's greedy.
Yeah, right. So David says his anger burned greatly against that man. Like he took it so seriously, and was really outraged. Right? Yeah, and so he said, "Surely this guy deserves to die for doing such a terrible thing." You know, he felt compassion, and probably one of the most. He also said, that he must, he deserves to die, and he should pay back 4
times.
right? And that comes from in Exodus, where they talked about stealing. Let's see, Exodus 22:1. Oh yeah, if a man steals an ox or a sheep and slaughters it or sells it, he shall pay 5 oxen for the ox and 4 sheep for the sheep. Right? So David is saying, he should really, make good on this and pay back a lot. He's going to take their pet sheep, and also that, it's a capital offense. He deserves to die. So I would say Nathan's response is one of the famous lines in the Bible that David hears. What did Nathan say? You are the man, huh? Oh, wow. Yeah, so by saying that, David condemned himself, saying, because in the parable, who was the rich man?
King
David, right? And the poor man would be
Uriah.
Uriah the Hittite. And I think the lamb, I guess, would be Bathsheba. Right? So, to hear that, you are the man, and it must have really hit David. And then what happens in times like this is they basically it's a prophetic judgment against David. A lot of times that happens in the Old Testament, right? It happened with a man spoke to Eli about his sin and the bad that he did. There was also Samuel and Saul in 1 Samuel, where basically he accused him, announces what the judgment is, right? And there's a sign, and so he said, now he's really speaking for the Lord, right? He says, now this is what the Lord God says, and then he recounts all the good that he did for David. What were some of those? He anointed him as king. What else? Delivered him from Saul so many times. Like I said in verse 8, he gave him his master's house and wives and the house of Israel and Judah, and so much, and he could have given him anything. Why have you despised the word of the Lord by doing evil in his sight? That's what he said. So, supposedly all this stuff was done in secret, right? Right? Like, people were following David's orders to put Uriah in the front lines and even carrying the message. And so Nathan knew this, I think, from the Lord. And basically he recounted all the stuff that David had done. Which was from the last chapter, how he killed Uriah, took his wife, and terrible things that a man of God can do sometimes. And that's why, like it says in you know, the Apostle Paul wrote, like, if anyone thinks he's doing good, you know, be careful lest you stumble. And so easy to fall and fall down and fall away from the Lord and do something bad. So, what were the judgments that the Lord pronounced on David in that passage? What did he say would happen, or would be the result of his despising him?
His first one would die.
Okay, so the baby would die.
The baby would die.
What else?
There will always be violence in this house.
Right, right. And so we saw that there was violence. It says in my verse, the sword shall never depart from your house. And so we saw like people getting killed, his son being killed, Solomon ordering people killed, and plus all the wars and things. And it says that